What if Mace Windu turned to the dark side in Revenge of the Sith instead of Anakin Skywalker? That's our story for today. Hope you guys enjoy this one, and let's get right into it. Our story begins inside of the Jedi Temple hangar on Coruscant, as Anakin Skywalker just delivered the most shattering 6 words that Mace Windu has ever heard. Chancellor Palpatine is the Sith Lord. And this was all part of Chancellor Palpatine's dark plan. For years, Palpatine has been manipulating both Anakin Skywalker and Mace Windu, because while analyzing Windu through the Force one day, just before the war started, Palpatine discovered Windu's biggest secret. The Jedi Master has a true attachment, but Windu is not attached to a love interest or a fellow Jedi or any family member. No, Mace Windu holds an attachment to the concept of peace. Palpatine knew that many of Windu's students often quoted him saying, "Jedi do not fight for peace, Jedi fight for civilization, because only civilization creates peace." And for all of Windu's life, this peace was only achieved through the Republic. But Palpatine slowly made the war worse. He showed there was corruption deep in the Republic that could never be fixed. And soon enough, Windu began to doubt that the Republic could ever truly bring peace again. Windu considered alternate options, going down dark paths, wondering if he could stand atop the galaxy and bring his own peace. So when Mace Windu hears today that Palpatine is Sidious, his thoughts begin to spiral. Windu has always admired Palpatine, but now it is his duty to bring down Sidious and restore the Republic. But again, Windu wondered if there was any Republic left to restore. But soon he would order Skywalker to stay here, while he, Fisto, Kolar, and Tin would go to the Chancellor's office. And in his office, Palpatine waited for Mace Windu. For years, Palpatine sought after only Anakin to be his next apprentice. Turning the Jedi's chosen one to his side would be so perfect. And Anakin did hold immense power, but Windu was an excellent option as well. He was highly respected by the galaxy, he was older, wiser, and Palpatine would bring him to his side. Soon enough, the 4 Jedi entered, igniting their lightsabers as Windu told Palpatine he was under arrest. Palpatine could feel Windu's conflict. The Jedi Master knew that only through him could peace be achieved. So Palpatine lifted one hand, blasting a force push that sent Kit Fisto, Agen Kolar, and Saesee Tiin out of the doorway, and Palpatine then closed the blast doors with the force, getting Windu alone. Mace reluctantly held up his saber, and Palpatine walked right up to the tip of it. If Windu wanted, he could drive it right through the Sith Lord's heart so easily. Windu's emotions went through confusion to anger to sadness, then finally to acceptance. He trusted Palpatine to bring peace to a galaxy in ruin. He saw that everything Palpatine did, creating this galactic war, was to show just how broken the galaxy is. And so as the other 3 Jedi were breaking through the blast doors, Windu proclaimed his loyalty to the Sith. Palpatine pulled Windu's blade to his hands, telling Windu that his first test begins now. Kill these 3 Jedi without his own lightsaber. In order for a Sith to earn a saber, they must steal it from a killed Jedi. Windu nodded to his new master, then turned as the other 3 Jedi broke down the blast door. Windu was not a stranger to the dark side. His lightsaber form, Vapad, a style he created, used the dark side to fight. Windu was amazing at turning away from the dark side, but today he was able to easily accept it. Agen Kolar would enter first, immediately choking and being slammed against the wall by Windu. Saesee Tiin and Kit Fisto looked on with confusion and horror, as Windu used a force pull on Saesee, twisting through the air to kick the Jedi Master hard in the face. Saesee fell to the floor, and Windu looked to Fisto. Kit Fisto moved in slowly, asking Windu to stand down. Windu did not speak, instead he just ran at Fisto. The Jedi Master swung his green blade for Windu's legs, then at his chest. Windu jumped, then slid across the floor, barely missing a hard punch to Fisto's face. Fisto swung his blade into Windu's robe, searing it a bit, and Windu reached out both hands, freezing Kit Fisto in place. Kolar and Tin both got back up to save Fisto, but once again, Windu reached out, slamming both of them into the wall. Windu called Fisto's own blade to his own hands, then ignited it, stabbing it underneath Fisto's chin, burning away his life, as Saesee Tiin and Agen Kolar truly realized what they were up against. Windu has turned to the dark side, and he must be taken down. The 2 surviving Jedi ran at Windu, swinging their blades down at him, as Windu blocked them easily, giving himself to the dark side, wielding Fisto's blade. He enjoyed the thrill of this duel. He craved victory. As Kolar swung over him, Windu ducked and slashed across his chest. Sazy leapt through the air, and Windu grabbed him by the neck before he could swing. Sazy dropped his saber to the ground as Windu choked his life away, throwing him to the ground, and Aegon Kolar was crawling to the doorway, where he saw Anakin Skywalker running up the stairs. As Anakin turned the corner, he saw Aegon Kolar, realizing he was too late, but instead of Palpatine walking up to kill Kolar, Anakin saw Windu swing to cut off his head. Anakin hid behind the corner as Windu knelt in front of Palpatine now. Anakin now saw the lies of the Sith. They do not save lives, they take them. Anakin remembered Obi-Wan's many warnings about Palpatine, that he cannot be trusted. He saw now these were not the people to trust to save Padme. Anakin knew now he could save her, and perhaps the biggest threat to her life is the Sith. Anakin walked out from his corner, igniting his lightsaber, ready to face both the Sith Master and the Sith Apprentice, the power of the Chosen One coursing through his body. Sidious saw immediately that Anakin would not be turning, so he ignited his red blade, while Windu still held Fisto's green blade, and Anakin ran at them, determined to fulfill his destiny and destroy the Sith. He charged at them with all his might, but Windu met his assault with an easy swing of defense, their blades clashing in a burst of sparks. Anakin backed off to recover, then charged back at Windu. Each of Anakin's strikes, fueled by desperation and anger, were parried with ease by Windu, whose movements were smooth, calculated, exuding an aura of cold superiority that he desperately wanted to show Anakin since the day he arrived at the temple and was proclaimed the Chosen One. As the duel continued, it became painfully clear that Anakin was outmatched. Windu was toying with him, countering every attack with swift blows that drove Anakin backwards, his strikes seeming almost lazy in their effectiveness. Anakin's fury was growing, but it only served to make his attacks more reckless. Windu took advantage of every opening, landing punishing hits that left Anakin falling to the ground time and time again. Windu sliced into Anakin's forearm, then across his shoulder, and finally, he used the Force to disrupt the wiring in Anakin's robotic hand. But Anakin wasn't giving up, despite the pain. Meanwhile, Sidious watched with a twisted amusement. Windu was beyond powerful. Anakin swung desperately at Windu, completely missing, allowing Windu to slash hard across Anakin's back. As Anakin struggled to rise, Sidious extended his own hands, unleashing torrents of Force lightning that engulfed him in terrible pain. His body convulsing under the assault again and again, he heard Sidious tell Windu to finish him off. And as Windu moved in, Anakin called upon any strength he had left to push the Sith away just enough for him to break the window, rolling out of the office. As Windu looked down, he saw Skywalker's body roll off of the rounded roof and descend to the ground, hundreds of stories below. Sidious would assure Windu that no one can survive that fall, especially with Anakin's injuries. And now, Windu must move on the temple. In order to secure the peace that Windu craves, the Jedi must die. Windu reached the floor, grabbing Anakin's lightsaber, and he poured his hatred and anger into it, bleeding the crystal red, as he told Sidious that it will be done. And Order 66 was executed across the galaxy. Across Coruscant, Padme Amidala was watching the temple burn, hoping Anakin was alright, when R2-D2 rolled up to her with urgency. The little droid and Anakin had a special relationship, and after R2 got lost during the war, Anakin gifted R2 a beacon that could be activated so the two of them could always find each other. Anakin's was installed in his robot hand, and when Windu ruined its wiring, the beacon was activated. R2 told Padme that Anakin is not at the temple, and together, R2 and Padme took a speeder to the location of Anakin's beacon, and when they eventually found him, he was face down in the streets, burned, bruised, and wrecked. Anakin used the last bit of his energy to slow his fall just enough to survive, but he was on his final breaths. Luckily, R2 came, spraying Bacta on his wounds, as R2 and Padme dragged him aboard the speeder. As Anakin saw Padme, his will to live was restored enough to hang on for just a bit longer, and he passed out once more. Days later, on Naboo, Anakin Skywalker would wake up on a medical bed, his memories slowly flooding back to him, and he sat up quickly, feeling his injuries sting him badly. He laid back down as Obi-Wan Kenobi ran in, his face now filled with relief, as he told Anakin no one was sure if he would survive. Anakin asked, "Where is Padme? Is she safe? Is she alright?" And moments later she walked in with a large pod hovering above the floor with 2 babies inside. She gave a safe birth, trying to survive for Anakin, and so she did. Anakin saw Luke and Leia for the first time and was filled with joy before asking what happened. How was he here? Is the war over? And Obi-Wan's relieved face now was filled with sorrow as he told Anakin what happened after he passed out. Obi-Wan and Yoda survived the Jedi purge by the clones, though they seemed to be the only ones that did survive. Together, Yoda and Obi-Wan went off to fight the new Sith, Windu and Sidious, and in the Senate building, Obi-Wan recalled the duel, fighting alongside Grand Master Yoda against Palpatine and Windu. Yoda had trusted Windu more than anyone, so when Obi-Wan watched Windu's red blade pierce Yoda's heart, it broke him. Obi-Wan ran from the battle as Yoda was killed by the Sith, leaving the galaxy to now be ruled by Sidious and Windu. Windu told the galaxy that the Jedi were evil, and he stopped their plot to take over the Republic. The galaxy cheered on the death of the Jedi and the Republic as it became the new Empire. Anakin felt completely gutted. He told Obi-Wan they have to stop the Sith, but Obi-Wan smiled softly, telling Anakin he is in no shape for that. Perhaps in time they will do so, but for now they must hide and let the events of the galaxy play out. So for the next year, Anakin would focus on his recovery. He would help Padme raise their children on Naboo. Anakin and Obi-Wan would live in the forest away from Padme, as her friendship to the Jedi was always under suspicion. Windu wanted to take the Skywalker twins away from her, thinking Anakin was dead, but Palpatine assured him that in time, once the children are older, they will be excellent Sith assassins. They will come to them, all in due time. Atop the Empire, relations between Emperor Palpatine and Mace Windu would start off very strong. Windu hid any regrets that he had with darkness, telling himself this was the only way. The galaxy was finally at peace without the Clone Wars going on. It was an enforced peace, with clones spreading the Empire's influence across the galaxy, but Windu quickly wanted more power, more control. He wanted this Empire for himself. For Palpatine, one of the perks of having Anakin over Windu would have been Anakin's young age. Though he was extremely powerful, he would likely be too arrogant to defeat Palpatine in a duel. But Windu? Well, Palpatine knew that Windu would soon attack. It was the way of the Sith. So one night, a year into the Empire, Sidious was in his apartment when he heard the door open and a lightsaber ignited. Windu was here. He told Sidious that he must prove he is stronger than him. Windu was going to try to kill Sidious, and in time, he would take Padme's children as an apprentice. Whichever one was stronger would become the Sith apprentice. Sidious stood, igniting his blade. This was the way of the Sith. He would not kill Windu. He would simply show him he is stronger, show why he is the master. The room was soon filled with dark side energy as the two Sith Lords moved around the room, their red blades being the only source of light in here. Windu, holding Skywalker's former saber, its red glow casting a sinister shadow to his face, moved in to attack, and the duel would begin with a flash of crimson light. As their sabers collided against each other, the peaceful room was being torn apart. As they moved, clashing sabers again and again. Windu moved with a speed and an anger honed by the years of battle in the Clone Wars. His strikes were powerful. He fought to claim his place as the leader of this empire. He wanted to bring peace himself. The two dark Sith circled each other, their sabers a blur together, clashing, dodging each other's strikes, as the battle got quicker and more ferocious with every second that it went on, each of them probing for a weakness. The furniture and statues of the apartment were reduced to shards as the battle moved through the room. Windu launched a final assault, his style a blend of power and finesse as he had to abandon Vapad, just give in to the power of the dark side. This fight surged through the apartment until they reached the window, and Windu cut Sidious's saber away, then kicked him to the floor. Sidious scrambled to the corner, but Windu called Sidious's saber to his hands, using both red blades to cut down the Sith Lord, tossing his body out of the window. He'd always admired Palpatine, but his time was up. Now, Windu finally ruled the galaxy himself. As word spread around the galaxy of Emperor Windu, Anakin and Obi-Wan saw this as a win for the Jedi. The Sith were naturally taking care of each other, as the two of them knew they would have to defeat Windu before he takes on a new apprentice, but they didn't know where to start. And in the forests of Naboo, Skywalker and Kenobi would meditate together, searching for the answers, and soon the ghost of Yoda would reveal himself to the Jedi. Anakin and Obi-Wan were extremely shocked and relieved to see Yoda, and after the initial excitement did wear down, Yoda told the Jedi that the weakness of the Sith can be exploited. Yoda would tell the young Jedi that the Sith can be defeated, but it will require a risky path. they will need to beat Windu with his own creation, the lightsaber style of Vapad that only Windu and Depa Billaba have mastered. Anakin and Obi-Wan knew of Vapad, but they didn't truly know its power, and so Yoda explained to them that Vapad is not just a fighting style, but it is a state of mind. Vapad is an aggressive and powerful, and it is as powerful as the creature it is named after. The creature called Vapad attacks its prey with whipping strikes with its blinding fast tentacles, and the lightsaber form is as aggressive and powerful as the creature, but the power comes at a great risk. Immersion into Vapad opens the gates that restrain one's inner darkness. To use Vapad, a Jedi must allow himself to enjoy the fight. He must give himself to the thrill of battle, the rush of winning. Vapad is a path that leads one to the edge of the darkness, and the great challenge is staying in the light while embracing the dark. Using it against Windu, the creator, will be the only way to defeat him. So the training under the ghost of Yoda would soon begin, and Anakin would travel to Ilum with Obi-Wan for a new lightsaber, and the Force would gift him a purple crystal this time, granting Anakin permission to embrace the light and dark in battle. Kenobi and Skywalker would stay on Ilum, training relentlessly deep in the caves and high up on the mountains in this new lightsaber form. Yoda did not ever use it, but he and Windu discussed it a great many times, as Windu was in the process of creating it. Yoda knew how to train someone to master this form, and the two Jedi would work hard at it, dueling each other every day as Skywalker and Kenobi, former master and apprentice, became closer and closer every day as brothers. For a year, the two of them worked to master this form. They had to start slow, learn to let the darkness in without embracing it, learn to control their darkness, to harness it in battle, and by the end of this year, they had control of their inner darkness. They were ready to fight. They would finally travel back into the Naboo forests, but before they could begin putting together plans to find Windu and take him down, Windu would come to them. An Imperial Star Destroyer emerged above the planet Naboo, and a single transport descended down to the planet. Emperor Windu was here to kill Padme Amidala, take her children away. Windu had been planting evidence for weeks to accuse her of treason. He would kill her under Imperial law, train the Skywalker children until one of them proves worthy to be his Sith apprentice. He would land outside of Padme's home, and he would march towards it, but from the doorway stepped out two people, Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Windu was genuinely shocked to see both of them alive. Of course they were together. They were always together. But Windu pulled out Anakin and Sidious's blades, igniting both of them to shine a red hue all around, as he said he will not hesitate to destroy them. Anakin remarked that he almost feels bad for Windu. The darkness has not been kind to him. Windu's eyes gleamed yellow, as he was already tired of Skywalker's words, and he ran at the two Jedi. Anakin ignited his purple blade, Kenobi his blue one, as they deflected the initial strikes from Windu. Windu effortlessly blocked a wave of blue strikes from Kenobi before dodging the purple blade of Skywalker, flipping over the two of them, telling the Jedi this is rather pathetic. Skywalker and Kenobi moved back in, thrusting at Windu as he backed up into Padme's home, flipping around, knocking the two Jedi backwards time and time again. Windu was enjoying this, and as he moved in for the double kill, swinging his blade perfectly, something shifted. Kenobi ducked, and Anakin barely missed Windu's chin with a strike, as now the two Jedi drove Windu to the far wall. Windu leapt away, realizing now he was tricked. The Jedi played him. As he looked upon the two of them, Windu felt a new wave of power submerge the two Jedi, and he realized what was happening. They both sunk deep into Vapad, allowing the darkness in, and suddenly both the Jedi were not existing as their own beings any longer. Windu angrily charged in, swinging his blade around as both Skywalker and Kenobi accepted the speed of Windu. Then, they both drew in Windu's rage and power into themselves, letting it fountain back out of them. There was a time during the war when both of these Jedi feared the dark side that resided in both of them, but the war and their training allowed them to now master this fear, control this darkness. The fighting became effortless for the Jedi. Their bodies moved without intervention from their minds, pushing Windu back, outside across the grass, down to the raging Naboo River. Windu was outmatched, his own creation being used against him. Obi-Wan flipped over Windu as Anakin struck at him time and time again. Windu barely blocked a strike from behind him, but his foot was caught in the river. He slipped into it, grabbing a rock, flipping up to a bridge, but suddenly he didn't see the Jedi anymore. His breathing was heavy and tired, and then the bridge was ripped apart with the Force. Windu fell down back into the river, where the two Jedi were waiting on rock platforms. Anakin sliced up through Windu's chest as he fell, and Windu took his final breath as his body crashed back into the water, taking him away to the Naboo Sea. Padme would soon inform the Senate that Emperor Windu's body was discovered on Naboo. He is dead, and Padme would soon step in as Emperor, slowly disbanding the Empire, turning it back into the Republic. Anakin and Obi-Wan would watch the twins on Naboo, soon training them in the ways of the Force to be the next Jedi in the galaxy, as the Republic recovers under Padme Amidala's true leadership. And folks, that is where our story ends today, with Windu turning to the dark side. I really wanted to focus heavily on a couple things. First, Anakin not turning with them, wanted that to not happen, him just, also surviving, and then the pod being used against Windu, the lightsaber form that he pretty much created. And I think I misspoke during it. I think Quinlan Vos also mastered the form, so Depa Blaba, Quinlan Vos, Windu. Maybe one other, but I think those were the main three that mastered the form, where you basically, embrace the dark side in the fighting style. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought of this. It was kind of an out there idea, as the reason Windu can master his lightsaber form is that he, is never going to turn to the dark side. But I thought just with Windu's connection or attachment to the Republic, which is very laid out in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, it gave motive for his turn. So, hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.